How young were you when you first began playing Go?
I was actually, let me see, I was 9 years old. I was I learned the game in a deep mountains where, that time was during the Cultural Revolution.
Hmm.
Probably you all know at least this name in China. It was a big movement. And then in a certain point, I think in 68, I believe, 67, 68, or somewhere around that time, they closed a lot of those, most of the universities and schools. Also, my elementary school, middle school, all schools and universities, they closed them up. And then most of the university teachers, they've been sent to uh, a camp. It called um, 5-7 school to get re-educated. Those
Mm.
teachers especially. So both my parents, they worked that time in the different two universities. They were being sent to different camps. So my mom was in a military camp, actually controlled by a military in the deep mountains, and so there was not free to have any. They were being trained like, military like soldiers. So of course, those professors are there. Anyway, so my father was being sent to another place. They were very, very far away from my city, Chengdu city. We had to go to, like, my father's camp was also in the deep mountains, but not controlled by military, so it was more flexible. So my father, they decided they take me. My father took me with him because they didn't like a 9-year-old child stay in the city behind. And most of the children that time being, took by the grandparents, but my parents are not from that city, so we didn't have grandparents. So I went with my dad, and his camp was very far away. That time there was no flight or something, and no train, even no train. So we had to go by bus. The bus took 3 days. So it's very, very far away, and there was no telephone or something. So for little children stay behind the city, it was not very safe, right?
Yeah.
So this is the reason I went with my father to his camp. I stayed there for about a year. And there, in this camp, there were people playing Go, a few of them, just actually two of them. One is a math teacher, and he's my father's colleague. So um, he was the guy uh, who was responsible for the kitchen, the stove, So that was,
Mm.
it's not like nowadays, the modern time, we have gas or electricity. That camp, there's nothing, no electricity, no water, no nothing. So you burn those wood or coal or something like that. So it was a big stoves. So he was behind the stoves, and there is a big hole. Actually, he sit there and to control, the stove so that people can cook, right?
Hmm.
Um, so this unit was like about 60 people, and they're all professional. I mean, professors or teachers from the universities. And so this guy, he was a Go player, amateur Go player, and I was very fond of learning how to make the stove work, right? So I
Hmm.
was there with him a lot. So he told me this game. So this is how I learned this game. And there was a second player. Of course, they were really, really very weak, but I didn't know. I thought they were very, very strong, of course, because I never could beat them.
Right.
So this is how I learned there. There are a few, like my father played Go there. So a few people learn. I mean, they just after you work in the field, there's not so much to do, so you play Go. And that was because it's in the camp in the mountains, so nobody cares because that time Go was forbidden in China. So this is how I learned this game.
Go is forbidden at this time.
Oh yes, during the Cultural Revolution, yes, quite a few
Then,
years. Yeah.
when you first started learning it, how did you decide in the
Okay,
environment that you were
so
you were
yeah,
going to like
much
pursue?
later, I learned this game because I was, in that camp, I was the only child, so
Hmm.
everybody was teaching me something, right?
Yeah.
There was a doctor teaching me how to give people injection, and there are people like how to feed the pigs, and so how do you make coal balls and to burn all those things, and how do you plant uh, fruit trees and vegetables.
Hmm.
Even today, I really want to have my little garden. So I think it's from there. So I learned many, many things because I was the only child there, and I don't remember my father was around there much. So those people were very nice to me. So Go is one of them. So I just learned it and was very, into it actually because this. We call him a dragon Jiang. So dragons because he kills big groups.
My
So
favorite.
he was very king of teaching me. So I played a lot of games with him, and that was it. And then in the New Year time, my brother came. My brother was 14 years old. He was left behind in the city
Mm.
by himself. But in the New Year time, he came to visit us. And then he learned this game, and of course, he beat me badly. And so we didn't have a Go board, so we had this like this. When you send some package, right? You have this kind of very, very, very thick, brownish paper, right?
Hmm.
You wrap things, and so we because it's very strong, so we draw the Go board on it, and we didn't have gold stones, so we pick up those rocks because so we play, and there
So
was
they
no
were actually
table.
stones then.
Yeah, I was in this camp, so there was no table or something. The table was built by earth. So and my brother came. He was 14 years old, and he learned this game. And he beat me badly. And after that, I was very mad. I was so mad because I said, I'm playing so many days, and you can't just you play little and beat me. So I was very angry. Angry. Actually, I literally told that the paper Go board poops like that, and I just ran away. I was very angry. I was 9 years old. So that after that, I just didn't play. Later my brother in the university, college, he continued, but I just stopped, and I come home to my mom's camp sent them home. So my father was still in that camp. So but my mom came home. So I came home to the city, and then there they started schools again. So my elementary school started again. Um, and then in my elementary school, there is a teacher, and he's a Go player. So that time, Go you can play Go again. So there is not forbidden. Actually,
Mm.
just a little bit after Cultural Revolution, you can. That was actually Cultural Revolution was you counted as 66 to 76. So that time was not yet, but still you can play Go again. Actually, in my city, there is a very famous Go school, Chengdu Go School, Chengdu Game School. Actually, it's a very famous one. They they have created a lot of professionals and very strong, and the teachers are the best in China at that time. So my school teacher in the elementary school, he was just a normal teacher. I mean, he likes Go, so he started a little Go club in this elementary school, And is that okay? I tell those stories
That's
a
fine.
little. Okay. And so I one day I passed that classroom. So I said to my little friend, I said, you know what? I know this game. You know this girl, this called witch. You know you don't know her. I was a little girl, right? And she said, no, I don't know what is this game. So and then the teacher heard me saying such a thing in the classroom. So he said, hey, Guo Juan, come here. I heard you said you know this game. And of course, that classroom, there were around 20 boys and they were playing. So so I was very proud, of course. I said, I know a guy is terribly strong and it's nobody can beat him, you know. So, so we call him a dragon junkie. He's a dragon killer. And so this teacher was very kind. You know what? He said, probably I believe you. And so you learn this game, you know this game. How about I ask a game from you? How about we play a game? I said, fine. And then I sat down with him, and then he said, you know, how many stones this dragon killer gives you? I said 9, but I never beat him. So I said he's so strong. And then the teacher says, "Shall we do the same? I give you 9 stones." So I just played. I was very relaxed. I played with him. But what turned out was very surprised because all my stones are dead. You know, none of them are alive.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, wow, there is some guy even stronger than this dragon killer. Huh? So that was very fascinating for me to see that somebody even stronger. So, and then he says, I was shocked. So, oh, this guy is really strong as teacher. And he said, you know, how about you? Do you like this game? I said, yes. And he said, how about you join us? So I said, yeah, fine. So I joined this little club. From there, and then we went to 1 month later, and we went to the city elementary school championship. So I was there, and I representative of my elementary school. And there we played a lot of games. My team did very well as myself. Actually, that was very funny. I should not have a chance, but there was a girl because much stronger than me, and she was already in the girls' school for 5 months. So I was much weaker. But somehow I was very relaxed. I had no fear. I had no fear because I know nothing, right? So I came there first tournament. All those children. Somehow I beat him. I beat her, and that game was very very exciting because I was dying everywhere somehow. Later, my teacher, professional teacher, Kong
You,
Fan Zhang, his name, is one of the best teachers. I was lucky I had her for
you beat her
3 years.
despite that you were dying all over the place?
The game against the other girl who was much stronger,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know anybody there, so I just played, and I was dying everywhere. Somehow, I heard a story from my teacher later, and he said then suddenly he was watching because he was choosing one girl to join the provincial team. And that time, because Go just started again, so everybody's very weak, right? All
Mm-hmm.
those young players, I mean, kids are very weak. They were just a half year in the Go school.
Right.
So I didn't know this. And then he was choosing a girl for join the team. And then he was watching, and then he said, suddenly I stopped play. I just sit there. I sat there for 20 minutes, and suddenly I found a test G. And somehow I captured a cutting stone. So my dad groups were linked to it, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
I ran away, and almost my stones turned alive. But still, I was losing. But then she got panic. This girl. She knew that she was going to be in the team. I didn't. So she was nervous. I think she probably a couple of stones stronger. Anyway, however, so she got panic and then she lost. And
Oh.
of course, so I won that championship, the city, Chengdu City Elementary School Championship. So I won that one. Of course, for me, it's just fun, but
Mm-hmm.
actually, it was a big deal for my life because my teacher chose me to that team. And so there were a lot of fighting, but he just said, well, you know what? All those girls there, if there is one who has a chance to become professional, that is Guo Juan. So, so he took me to that team. From there, I had a very, very good training.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, was like he took me to that school, and I even lived there next to him. There is a little room. It's his home. So he put a bed there, and my parents came to school and met him. And he's very, very well educated guy, and he's how do you say, very polite and very kind and very funny too. And so my parents like him, and so they decide, okay. And I was, by the time, I was totally crazy about this game. I just couldn't do anything else. I just want to play and nothing else. Okay, so my parents said, okay, then. So I
When
joined. I joined this, and I had
when
at
you said
least 4 years of very hard training. And
yeah, when
later
you
I
say
had a half day's training, like 6 hours a day. In the beginning, it
mm.
was 2 hours. Yeah, and then until my high school, I finished my high school. I become pro.
So when you say that you were studying for 6 hours a day, what did that entail? Was it just playing? Was it going over Go problems? What exactly is training?
Um, Yeah, solving problems is it's always a big deal. So we always have to solve a lot of problems. In that Go school, we have another teacher who is especially for this. Every day gave us a lot of problems to solve. After that, we play games. We play very fast games. The children, 10 minutes and finish. And my teacher also played with us, and he reviewed our games. Basically, we played a lot of games and study, of course. He gave us a lot of pro games to study. That time in China, we didn't have many Go players, Go books, not at all. So we
Hmm.
had some Japanese kiddo. So their games. So we studied.
That's
Um,
actually
yeah.
That's actually quite interesting because it actually goes to the heart of an ongoing debate among amateur players today. You said you play a lot of fast games, didn't last more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Those are more blitz type games. There's like a heated debate right now. Well, not right
Oh,
now. It was occurring like last week, week before, something like that, on one of the Go forums.
yeah.
On if Blitz Go is good for you, people were arguing that it was. Some people were arguing that you should like take your time and think.
Yeah.
Um, Knowing like how Blisco apparently affected you and what you've learned over the course of your Go career, do you still recommend a lot of Blitz games? Is there like an in
Mm,
between?
yeah, I always like the Blitz games. First of all, of course, the children, you cannot ask children play long games because they
Mm.
can't stay too long, right? So we always play the very fast, but we did play some slow games like half hour using clocks. Normally you don't need to because the children just play very, very fast. So you don't. Actually, our teacher were asking, "Hey, you guys play too fast," but it just doesn't help because children just you cannot let children sit there hours and hours long. It's not possible. So I think this is one of the reasons. And the second reason is our teacher think fast game is good for you because you learn a lot of shapes.
Mm.
When you have to play very fast, normally you play more solid and a better shape because when you have a bad shape, in the end, it's very easy to collapse. So that is a good training for shapes. Mm.
Okay.
So, so I like to play this game all the time. Even nowadays, when I play, with my students, sometimes have fun. I always like fast games. And later in the national team, I play so many blitz games. Of course, we train, right? We train, we play slow games. But in the weekends, I have friends. So we just sit there and play the whole day long. And, I don't know how many games we play, 30, 40, and it just goes on and on. It's fun for me.
Okay.
Mm.
Let me see. Give me a minute to kind of organize what I was going to talk about and cross a few things off. Let's see. This. Can get rid of that. Answer that one. Ooh, that's what I wanted to go over, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, before I hit that, I do want to talk about that. Alright, so you kind of hit upon this a little bit already, but you mentioned that when you were in training to become a professional, you were studying like 6 hours a day and whatnot. Now, you are a professional 5-dan, not a professional 1-dan, so I assume you didn't just like turn professional and be like, alright, I'm done, that's it. You still wanted to improve. How did studying change, if it did at all, from when you were a pro to when you were studying to be a pro? Did that change at all?
You mean about study?
Yeah, when you reached professional level, did your studying change a bit? Did anything...
Oh yeah. I think quite a bit because in the Go school, the teacher tell you what you have to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you become pro, mainly it become a very lonely study. And good thing is in a professional team, especially in China, I think the Japan and the Koreans are now also learning this.
Mm.
We're always in the groups. So those young players, we grow up together in the same team and we stay in the same place. And so the provincial teams, in the beginning, we were always located in hosted by the sports teams. So we were neighbors, were like cyclists, like basketball and volleyball. I remember in the national team, our floor next to us was this famous Chinese volleyball team. And anyway, so we were in the same place, and so you study together, and mainly is reviewing games. So we play a game, and then we got games reviewed by stronger players.
Hmm.
We had the coaches, right? And so we also all discussing together. It's always like a group of people. So I like that very much, especially like join those boys discussing. So after all, also girls could become very, very strong, but still the boys, so they have many more stronger players. So I really especially like to join their discussing. So you have these advantages, but besides that, your study is very lonely. You just mostly we study programs. Like I replay programs a lot. That is a difference between the Go school. How there is no teacher, right? There is nobody says you have to study this. So
Right.
you have to make your own plan. That is the difference. And now when I study, I mainly still replay programs.
So you still study today?
Yeah, I sometimes, yes. Actually, I did quite much. But this moment, because I'm, this website is a very huge job, right?
Right.
So I don't have much time to study. Actually, I'm trying to figure out, to teaching the beginners more than I study myself now.
When you do study, you study pro games. Do you have
Yes.
do you have professionals that you go to actually study their games? Do you have do you have a favorite player?
All times, I like Fujisawa Shuko sensei most, and Goseki sensei's games I like very much. And that time Sakata I like very much. Kato Masao because the last three of them they are big killers. So I myself my style is a little bit attacking style. So I like
Mm.
their the power of attacking. So I choose their games to study. Um, and Chinese players I really love Niu Weiping.
Mm-hmm.
Niu Weiping's games are absolutely beautiful because it's a global view. He's so clear and so beautiful. And once he fights, he's also a very good fighter. But his global view is really, really number one, I would say. And Fujisawa Shuko is very flexible. I like that. So, and these people really influenced me, my goal a lot. And I was also very close to them, like Niu Ping. He told me a lot, and also this Fujisawa Shuko sensei told me a lot. So those people, I really love them. And nowadays, when I study, I just pick up all those recent games. I just
Mm.
replay them very fast, and when I find something interesting, oh, that's interesting. Then I slow down and take a look.
All right.
But no special players too. First of all, the world of Chinese Go was, I don't even remember which year. That time my English was quite bad,
Mm.
and people ask me like you, huh? But not interview, but just among friends, and
Mm-hmm.
we talk about this girl in China, and so I was telling little stories here and there, and just tell friends, and why don't you just write it down? It's fascinating, like you say, huh? It's very interesting for Westerners like us because we know nothing about Far East.
Mm-hmm.
And this game is from China, but we know nothing about the Chinese Go players and none, zero. So I said, "Oh, the stories you tell is very interesting. So maybe you should write down." And I saw my English is so bad, but actually, in the end, it turned out it was very good lesson for my English because I had to force myself to write in English,
Mm-hmm.
and probably you can still see it's not a real native it's a very Chinese my English. So but still there I learned very much, but I just wrote those stories down, and then I contact Kisedo, and then they just said, oh yeah, it's an interesting book, so we're going to publish it. So this is how that book turned out. And then second book about that Joseki is that at that time I was working um, with Minjiu, Minjiu, huh? Jiang Minjiu,
Mm-hmm.
okay, who lives in US. Jiang Minjiu, you know this name, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he was actually my teammate in Shanxi province team, and this is I probably you already read there's a chapter about my provincial team, and so he's like my older brother, so we have very close relationship, and he also told me a lot of Go. So that time we were working together online, so I was trying to create something that for everybody we teach things there, but in the end it didn't turn out successfully because there were some other reasons. However,
Mm.
so we were being hosted by some people. Anyway, so it didn't work out. But then we had a lot of those materials. I thought, well, it's very interesting to write them down. So So I discussed with Minjo. He said, "Yeah, you go ahead. You do whatever you like." He completely trust me. So I just wrote that book, and put our both names there, and that one published later, some years ago. The German book was that was really funny. It was not my idea at all. Actually, that time, I was already having my website, so I'm already teaching, very, very busy teaching life. So I didn't have time to write a book at all. And then there's a German player, and he, author of that book, actually, he sent me email. He introduced himself, and he said, "Oh, I wanted to write a book about master, pieces." And so he said, "But I'm an amateur player and I need help." I said, I can help you. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, so I will send you the commands, and you give comments on my comments." And so he was collecting everywhere all those comments, not from himself. He let me check all the technique stuff. Then he put my name there.
I see.